And we are back, the Newfie Growlers, ready for another season. We have a lot to talk about in today's video, not just related to this franchise mode, so I do want to get down to business. First and foremost, what the team looks like, the decision as to whether or not we wanted to run with some of the younger guys in the lineup, just see what would happen, versus calling up the likes of Duchesne, Huckins, Boucher, and company. We're going to give it a shot. So in terms of chemistry, there's not a ton I can do. So we are going to just roll with the best overalls where we can, except for Thomas on the fourth line over Duran to avoid that negative. So Riom, Leroux, Corazini, Hines, or Hannon. And then from there, it's Bear, May, Francois, Boumedienne, and Maurice Durand. And on the fourth line, Gabriel Crooks, the 49 overall with Mason Gianna and Todd Thomas. Defensively, it's pretty much what you would expect. Laflemme and Leroy, Keaton Kilger with Stefan Sauvé, and Yves Renaud with Gaspard Lachance. So I wish I could play Sauvé with Laflemme. It is what it is. Playing him with Leroy might not be the worst idea, but we'll start apart. And then Cousineau, who a lot of people were surprised that I brought back. I don't blame you for being surprised, but I figured, knowing that I had an inclination that I was going to make these drastic changes, at least try to justify it by bringing back our highest rated goalie, even if he sucked. He sucks again, he gets dropped, no matter how bad the team in front of him is. And down the AHL as well, we do have some players with potential still. Gail Cracknell, again, dropping to that low top six means I'm not going to prioritize him, but Sheldon Brennan's there, Ray Kostopoulos, John Weber. So we do have prospects in the system that are going to get some ice time this season. Defensively, it's mainly Wallet and Vandenbush, who are both 24. So we'll see what happens. Of course, I'm sure we'll make changes throughout the season if it's necessary. Now, I forgot to change up the scouts, and we also have to sign a goalie coach. But while doing that, I wanted to talk about a couple of different things. I guess first and foremost, again, we've talked about the future of this series. Like I said, right now, it's just more kind of waiting for that moment when I finish roster editing. The big thing, the roster editing right now is my main focus. Like, you'll notice, of course, you have the occasional video about what's going on in hockey, whether it be the last week in hockey stuff, or when Chara left, or when Bergeron was named captain yesterday. Had a video out about that. But from there, I haven't really done any of the GM trade histories lately. I haven't been able to really find the time to do a lot of the videos that I want to make. Again, I love doing the GM trade histories. I love doing the draft, redrafting old NHL drafts. Those videos are a lot of fun. I really like the idea of kind of doing more videos where it's like, hey, let's just talk about the best way I can think to explain it. If you're a wrestling fan, you might know the channel Wrestling Bios. And basically all this guy does is, he'll either talk about a certain wrestler at a certain point, he'll talk about a certain event, so on and so forth. Honestly, I'd really love to do that for the majority of my content, really. It's just be like, oh, today, let's just talk about Sergei Fedorov on the Red Wings. Or today, let's talk about the OG Winter Classic, which is probably a video I'm going to make pretty soon. I actually would like to talk about that. So it's like I want to do stuff like that. And then, of course, I still want to do some of the old school video game content. So you look at the Cold War, which, again, isn't going anywhere. I will see that series through unless I prematurely die. I will see that series through. I have the footage I need for the second episode, but the biggest issue, like I said right now, that's preventing me from getting stuff like that done is having to roster edit. And again, there's been some issues with NHL 21. First and foremost, of course, franchise mode sucked when this game launched. It was broken in a couple of different ways, as was roster editing. You couldn't properly edit defensemen. Just a massive pain in the ass. So not only, of course, did I have to start my franchise modes later than I normally would, on top of the game, of course, coming out a month late, but I also had to wait to start the roster editing process, which, it's a pain in the ass sometimes, although I love it. Again, it's something I like to do anyway. Mentally, it helps me enjoy the game more. The big issue right now this year, though, is that, and if you've watched a stream lately, you'll know because I've done some roster editing live on stream. Again, twitch.tv/Tuki24, of course. The big issue is these rosters that I've based the editing off of, which is about a month old, maybe a month and a half old at this point. They are the worst, like, launch rosters I think I've ever seen from EA. They are that bad. It's not just Jack Quinn being like a low top 9. Hopefully they fix that in a subsequent roster update, but the rosters are abysmal. So it's taking even longer to properly edit everything. On top of when we start a new franchise mode series by the end of this month, I probably won't have all of the created players in yet. We'll probably do a series without all of the caps. As you look at our grades, 74, 75, and an 81, so our lowest grades in a while. There's just so much going on right now, and I can't help but think, too, that when this series ends, the roster editing is done on Twitch. I think I am going to start going back to the idea of live recording these franchise episodes and just putting them up on this channel afterwards, which is what I've been doing with the NBA series and the Seattle Kraken FHM series. And then that way, like, in this time right now that I'm taking, like, so, it's like I finish streaming, I walk my dog, I grab something to eat, I record a video or two, and I go to bed. In this time, instead of having to record a franchise mode video, it's going to be, let me work on one of those type of videos that I want to do. Whether it is, again, the Cold War stuff, a GM trade history, even, the Cold War, like I said, the idea of looking back at old hockey games, that's something that I want as a staple of this channel. So there's so much that I want to do. I can't help but feel as though, and again, I hate the word, but I can't help but feel as though my content is going to change a lot this year. But right now, the big hang-up is the roster editing. And I've talked about this a lot, too. It's a different scenario right now to what it's been in the past when I was roster editing, mainly because I'm not single anymore. Like, and I've been spending so much time with the girlfriend to the point where, and it's not a freaking brag or whatever, but, it's just a lot of the free time that I used to have to put towards roster editing just to grind that shit out. I don't have that much free time anymore. So that's the big thing. Like, there's a lot on my mind right now. In regards to so many different types of videos that I want to make and that you will hopefully get to see from me this year. I really want to try to, crooks, Jesus Christ. I really want to try to grow this channel, not just in terms of a sub count. Of course, that would always be nice. I think you could probably realize for how long I've been doing this that it's just not all about the sub count. It's just I genuinely enjoy doing this. So there's just a lot, of course, that I'm looking forward to doing on this channel this year. So I think that pretty much covers everything. I don't want to sit here and ramble on too long. There are a couple of points, like minor things that I probably want to mention that I'm going to be mad that I forgot. But it's pretty much what it comes down to. So, like I said, this series, would I have pulled the plug on it by now if the editing was done? Probably, because, we're in a pretty tough spot. Obviously, you look at the series, some of the comments in the most recent episode, and to those of you that do leave a like and do leave comments, again, I read every single comment, whether or not I respond to it or not. I thank you guys for that. Obviously, that's kind of the biggest thing to get with a video is any kind of interaction like that beyond people just watching it. So again, for those of you that do, thank you. Obviously, it helps. This series in general, a lot of the comments have been like, man, it's too restrictive. Like, you didn't really have a shot. And, it does come down to a little bit of luck. I'd say even more so this year with the way certain players develop, Like, look at Tim Orr. He started the season as an 84. He's a 79 now, for God's sakes. Crooks is up to a 50, though, so I think this idea is paying off. We have Rayom on 30 points. I mean, we've won a decent amount of games so far this year, too, here to change our focus to this episode and what's going on this season. Obviously, though, we have some struggles here, and the question is whether or not it's worth just, again, abandoning ship here or just sticking with it. I think it's worth sticking with it. The one thing I didn't do, that I forgot to do while I was going on that rant, was talk about who the captains were going to be. And I wanted to take a look to see if there were any like locker room leaders. There aren't, so it would pretty much come down to, I guess, the long-term leadership on this team. And it did give the letters to pretty much exactly who I would have given them to. Only difference is Zach LaRue is going to be the captain of this team. You know, one of the longest tenured players. He is the right guy to name captain this season. So as it stands, we are 12 points out of a playoff spot. I don't know, even if we were to add the veterans back, if we would be good enough to make the playoffs. Actually, the one thing we should check right now is the draft. You know, the quality of this draft class. Let's see who's out there and if it's worth tanking. And unfortunately, it's not. There's 2 players in the top 5 from the queue. Neither are available to us, Will Peterson and Rene Dumont. There is Gord Gerby, though, and he's a defenseman. And obviously, we need defensemen. I think one of my biggest mistakes, letting go of Sean Bates. It's at least an 80-plus overall defenseman. We probably shouldn't have dropped him, but God, he was so frustrating. He just wouldn't perform like you'd need him to. Cape Breton. That's the big issue, too. We've gotten so many forwards from the queue. I'm looking for defensemen right now. Let's just sort it flat out by defensemen. So we do have Gerby. And then from there, we have to go all the way down. Yeah, there's 1 defenseman projected to be drafted. That's been our big issue. We just don't see any goddamn forwards or anything else other than forwards. So could we just say, screw it, call up the vets and go for it? Yeah, and at least that way we know that some of these other guys managed to at least get some dev time this season. Or we just stick with it and say maybe next year. 12 points back. Honestly, we might be too far back already. We might just be. The problem is, of course, if we make that change, I'm going to stick with it. If we make that change, like, what's different? The roster just goes back to what it was, which, sure, it was good enough to make the playoffs last year, but not good enough to get the job done. The funny thing is we've actually had a decent month, or at least a decent start to the month, depending on how these last 2 games go. That was a successful month. 21, 24, and 5. Problem is, we are 11 points back. The pace is just ridiculous. We had a solid month, and we basically made up no ground. So, with that, I think we can kind of tell we're just not going to be a playoff team this season, pretty much no matter what we do. As unfortunate as that is, to be honest, I'm just going to go best lines at this point, and we'll see if we can fix up that -1. I think it'd have to be Thomas that gets dropped. Indeed, it would be. And we'll just go with the best lines setups here and see what the hell happens based off of the overall changes. Gianna jumped up to a 72. He was about a 68, I think, 69 overall. Based off the changes, we'll see what happens. Elliot Cousineau, yeah, we're done with you, pal. We might as well just go with a goalie who can develop. So Morgan is 25 at this point. He's not going to get any better. Papineau and DeRoche have an outside chance of improving. Let's go for it. Cousineau and Morgan both cleared waivers. We're going to go with Papineau and DeRoche for the rest of the season. We pretty much know we're not going to make the playoffs. Let's just go with the dudes that have a chance to maybe get some development. Kind of treat this like we would treat something in the early stages of a series. And to be honest, again, we can go Cousineau and Morgan. It'll be beneficial to the AHL club to have these dudes play. And then defensively, again, not much there in terms of potentials. We're probably good to just leave this as is, maybe. I just don't want to mess with it too much. They're still getting some decent play time. So let's go for it. Let's just keep the team the same, see what happens. This honestly might end up being a draft episode. Unless by some kind of miracle, even with the goaltending changes, this team, oh my God, we've won 4 games in a row. Jesus. This team has proven that they can win games consistently. A very streaky team. Pretty rough end to the month there. But pretty impressive. 27, 30, and 6, despite taking the hit in overall to the goaltending. It really does come down, and there were comments that said this. Just trust the team. Screw the overall. You know who's performed and who hasn't. Just go with it. You're not entirely wrong. Jaden Hines, for example. God, am I sick of you. Have we seen... Man, Gianna's up to a 76. He's having a great season here. Crooks, still no points in 63 games. Poor bastard, can't even get an assist. Let's go best lines again. And I wanted to see, it does move Gianna up. What happens? Moumenian can't take it away, so it'll have to be Gianna, I think, that takes it away. Maybe not. Who the hell can I move here to get rid of that minus? I guess it's just the combinations anyway. Is it because Tim Orr was on the third pairing before? I have no idea why I can't get rid of that that minus now. I think it was Gianna, Crooks. There we go. That was the combo. Leave the defense the way it is. Let's keep going. I mean, hey, we are 12 points out of a playoff spot still. So we pretty much know what the game plan is. Get through this season and hopefully draft Gerby in the upcoming entry draft. And maybe 2039 will be our season. But this team, I mean, we're probably not going to finish over 500. Definitely not going to finish over 500. But, you know, over 30 wins, it's pretty respectable when you had a 46 overall player in your opening night lineup. So yeah, I mean, 77 points, it's 86 to make it. We are out. No real surprise there. Philly, we get a big 4-3 shootout win. Vegas, we win 4-3. Penultimate game of the season against the Bruins, we lose 7-4. And our final game of the year is against Carolina, and we lose 4-1. So that does it for our season. 36, 37, and 9. A couple of teams, though, still have a game to play. So let's go ahead and advance a day until everyone's on 82. And we'll see how this one played out. And we will get to the draft today. So this is kind of like an old school episode where we're probably going to go coast to coast here. Or at least close to it. So the Bruins, the top team in the East. Again, I'll just kind of breeze over this for anybody who wants to see. Remind me as well, by the way, if we do go the distance, of course, we'll have to check the team info for every team. You know, the record book and everything. We'll have to check that. We actually haven't checked our club record book in a while. So the Bruins were the top team. We finished 28th. So that's good. We're guaranteed to be able to draft Gerby in the upcoming draft. Our offense was towards the bottom, but not abysmal. And we didn't have the worst defense or goaltending either, which is an accomplishment, I'd say. Our power play was at 21%, which is pretty damn respectable. Our penalty kill sucked at 75%. So there's some positive things to take away from this season. Zach LaRue back up to a point per game. Corazzini hit 75 points with 23 goals. Tim Orr with 61 points, 60 for Philippe Realm. And then it really drops off from there with Hines and Hannon. Bear May put up 34 points, 22 goals as a rookie. Boumedienne with 31 points. And yeah, Crooks, 2 goals. Let's go. Only showing up as a 51 right now, but what a job by Crooks. Defensively, Laflemme and Leroy crushed it. Everybody else really struggled. And then goaltending-wise, a 904 for Papineau. DeRoche was not ready for the NHL, to say the least. Around the league for the hell of it, Joaquin Funk. That guy is unbelievable. Unbelievable. 58 goals, though, for Christophe Kuhn. Not a bad performance there. Defensively, I think Laflemme may have just won the Norris unless they give it to Darren Kuiper or Tim Boland. Tim Boland, huh? Son of Dave, perhaps. Leroy was up there as well. We had the only 2 defensemen who broke the 20-goal mark. And in terms of save percentage, I mean, anything over like a 905 was actually decent. So, go figure. And top rookie, Philip Goalie, that franchise-level player, is going to steal that away. Brad May was up there, but really nowhere close. So that is the look at the end of the season. Let's actually go look at our record book here. I'm intrigued. Let's go look at the Growlers record book, shall we? The end of the season. So Zach LaRue, of course, is our all-time points leader, past 1,000 points this season, has 15 seasons with the club now. The records in games played, assists. Wes Corazzini has the most penalty minutes. The shutout leader right now on the team is Bernard Papineau, apparently. That's the career number. I guess that's still broken, maybe. Unless that just shows current team, but it's career. Hugo Laflemme has the most goals, and he's a defenseman. Or, no, oh, shit. You know what? Yeah, that's just for current players. That makes sense. Duh. Wow. That shows how little I've looked at this. And again, most amount of seasons, Cole Huckins, that's going to be passed, apparently. Huckins actually has the all-time penalty minutes, which isn't surprising. Kusno has 18 shutouts and 184 wins to his credit. And in terms of a single season, right now, the all-time record, Andrew Ebbett with 82, whatever. Kusno with 7 shutouts. Jacques Lapierre has the record for most goals in a season with 36. Points is Hugo with 90. It was 3 years ago. And then in terms of the rookie numbers, Tim Orr has the all-time assist record for rookies. The goal record is Guy Boucher with 30 as a rookie. Rayom with 74 points. And the single-season game record, Nick Ruscia put up 50 saves in a game, 5 assists for Gill, 6 points for Leroux, 5 goals for Boucher. And around the NHL, most goals belongs in a game at least to Teemu Selanne, or at least the rookie record, I should say. Do we have any new additions to that? Matt Barzal with the 63 assists. Jesper Wallstedt, most wins in a rookie season. He is tied for second all time. It's not too bad. And then in a season, of course, the most games played thing. I mean, yeah, it actually makes sense, I suppose. Maybe for goalies, I guess. Did Brodeur play 70 or Field play 79 games? Fuck's sake. Any new additions to these records? The answer appears to be no. And then for the career, Leon Draisaitl. Unless that's glitched, which it might be because Binnington and Anderson are up there, but Leon Draisaitl may have retired as the NHL's Iron Man. John Gibson apparently has played 1,700 games as a goalie. Okay. Most goals is Ovi, who had 1,000. Stamkos also broke Gretzky's record. And Connor McDavid's close. Jesus, Draisaitl up there too. My God, that's insane. Most points, though, is Gretzky. McDavid and Draisaitl have both broken 2,000, though. And then the most assists, Leon Draisaitl is top 4. William Nylander's 5th all-time. The most wins, Hank and Samsonov, Malcolm Subban. That's definitely glitched then. No disrespect to Malcolm Subban, but I mean, come on now. 11 goal seasons. Dennis Rolison has 11. Jesus Christ. Ovi and Almqvist. No, go figure. Johan Almqvist already has 10 50-goal seasons. 15 100-point seasons for McDavid, tying Gretzky. So, some pretty crazy changes there around the league. And, of course, for our team as well. So, the big thing here, let's get to this draft. Let's hope we can do well. Actually, really, I'm going to be intrigued to see the progress reports by the end of this and to see if the AHL team goes far. And we at least know that they're going on to round number 2. Make that round number 3. It might be the only bit of hardware we ever get. Can we get a Calder Cup? They are going to the Calder Cup final again. The 63-win Burnaby team with NHL caliber players against the Texas Stars. Game 1 is a 3-0 loss. Game 2 is a 4-2 win. Game 3, 3-2 loss. Game 4, 4-3 win. Game 5, 3-2 loss. We might never win anything. It's Game 6. First period, we get the opening goal. It's Wallet's. Second period, now 3-1, Moses and Boucher. And 5-1 is your final, Cracknell and Brennan. So, comes down to Game 7. Can somehow, some way, Cole Huckins, this is almost Nolan Patrick-esque. Can Cole Huckins, shout out to those of you who know that reference, can Cole Huckins on home ice get the job done? 2-1 lead here, Chevrolet and Weber. Second period, we're tied at 2. Third period, and the Burnaby Aces have won the Calder Cup. Duchesne with the winner, Weber with the insurance. I'd watch the celebration, but let's be honest, it's not the celebration that we want. But this franchise has taken home some hardware. Arizona beats Montreal in the Stanley Cup final. We finally, I don't recall us ever winning the Calder Cup before. We have some hardware to our name. The Burnaby Aces have won the Calder Cup. So you love to see that. I couldn't remember. Yeah, we won the North Division now 2 years in a row. And Eastern Conference. Yes, I thought we made the final last year, and we lost. That's what I thought. We did lose to Henderson, so very good there that we were able to pull this off. Joaquin Funk, that guy is insane. As Jack Adams goes to some dude named Ben. And then down in the AHL, Belmar was league MVP as a defenseman. Jesus, he was also the top defenseman, of course. And Pascal Duchesne was the MVP of the Calder Cup playoffs. So that is another season that has come to a close. Progress reports. We got Zach LaRue declining at 35 years old. Great improvement for Gianna up to a 76. Sauve up by 3 to a 78. From there, though, those are the only greens. What about in the AHL? Durand, good improvement. Weinrich as well. May is showing up as a 77. So we definitely got some decent improvement. Beaumedienne, too little too late for him. Crooks up to a 52, so not as great of an improvement as I was hoping. But we definitely did see some improvement here from some of those younger guys. I mean, you can make the argument as to whether or not it was worth it. Maybe we technically wasted a season for some of those veterans. It's a tough call, but regardless, we go to the draft. We actually end up winning the lottery. We move up from 5 to 3. Doesn't really help us at all. Again, there are players in the queue, but not anybody who we were looking for. And there you see Leon Draisaitl. We knew he had an incredible career, and he really, really did. Guys, we've reached the point where Alexis Lafreniere is retiring. That shows how far into this bad boy we are. Nick Russia has retired. Oh, it's a sad day. 98 wins despite a career 877 save percentage. The talisman of the club, Nicholas Arussia, has retired, as has Cole Huckins. I was wondering if we'd reach that point. Oh, captain, my captain. Chuckins retires with 666 career points. Oh, captain, my captain. That $14 million contract's off the books. Wow. We lose Russia and Huckins. It really is a new era now, isn't it? Bittersweet. We go to the draft. Dumont and Rawlings off the board. And again, as you would expect, our top pick in this draft has to be Gerby. Bob Nakamura is sick, but we need Gerby, and we need him badly. Tebow is also great. I'd love to be able to get all three. It's not going to happen. I was hoping the dude for Cape Breton and Gibbons would be better, but clearly Gord Gerby, the St. John Sea Dogs, is the pick. He is a 76, medium top 4. He will immediately join the NHL lineup. That's not even a question. My God, Colorado, congratulations. Oh my God, 81 overall, 9th overall. Jesus. It's pretty crazy numbers here to eke. My God, look at the high overalls. This is crazy. Crazy high quality draft there, at least at the top. Let's see who's available to us here in this round. There is Tony Gibbons. He sucks. Absolutely sucks. Moncton, we have Mario Facette, who I like a little bit more. And then there is Plus, who's not available. Jackson Fox is a potential goaltender. Cyrus Lashoff. Good thing I can't say his name or good thing I can't draft it because I can't say his name anyway. Joey Pronger's there. Mark Barnes can skate and play defense and shoot. Elite speed, good skating, but he's a low 9. I mean, maybe we risk it just to see if he develops because there might not be much else. So for the moment, I think it's pretty clear we go for Facette in this round and look for Fox in the next. So Mario, good shooting, decent skating, 3 years out. How good are you? He is a low top 6, 64 overall. As we get pick number 69 of this draft. Will it be nice? Jackson Fox, the 18-year-old goalie. Oh my God. Please. How good are you? 73, which is incredible, but he's only a medium fringe. Maybe, just maybe, Jackson Fox is the guy for us between the pipes, though. Very interesting. I don't hate these 3 picks to start. I really don't. S. Crosby, huh? Spike Crosby. Gotta love it. So again, Lashoff, if he could skate, I'd go for him because of the extra physicality. Pronger, meh. Barnes, he can at least skate. It was McKinley. Kind of sucks. I mean, we know his player type is sniper, and all they have to say is, yep, he's a sniper, all right. You know, that's a bad sign. Charlottetown, Pierre, St. Louis. Probably pretty garbage. Okay, so in terms of the pinned players, we have Barnes, Pronger, and McKinley. We're going to leave out McKinley. We'll look for Pronger and Barnes and then take defensemen. So Joey Pronger, welcome aboard. He is a low top 9, 60 overall. And Barnes, we know, is also going to be a low top 9, 57 overall. Again, just got to kind of hope for some crazy development. And then here, clearly, we're just going to look for defensemen and hope for the best. I was hoping there'd be a younger defenseman that would make sense to draft. We do have overagers. Honestly, I want to look for smaller defensemen because I feel like they might have a better shot. I know right now I'm looking at taller defensemen just to kind of see how many options there are. But I was thinking smaller defensemen because you'd think in theory that the skating would be a little bit better. But there's only Stéphane Appel, the Apple, or Jérôme Brisebois. That is it. Or we look for some of the big boys. There is 18-year-old Laurent Vauclair. DeFazio's an overager. And apparently garbage. Can't skate. And then Nielsen, also a big boy. All these guys are young, though. I mean, we're going to end up with 2 of them. None of the point totals are impressive. We got 2 smaller boys and 2 bigger boys. What strategy do we want to take? Let's go for the big boys. So Stéphane Appel is the pick. He is a low 4. Honestly, pretty good for the 6th round. And let's go for the other small boy. It is going to be Jérôme Brisebois. Medium 7th. Could have been worse. Could have been worse. So, you know, probably not the best draft for us in the world, top to bottom. Not expecting too much. We do get Gerby, who could help out a lot. And now we look ahead to this next season. Cousineau, let's just get this over with. 3rd round pick in 2025. Over 580 games played with us. But you were the great hope that disappointed us immensely. My son, Nueve, is never going to be signed. 7th rounder 2 years ago. We're going to go ahead and release him. But we do have Peyton Rafalski, 6th round pick in 2036. We're going to go ahead and sign him to his ELC. DeRocher's there. We are going to sign Fox. And then for the hell of it, we'll bring back Papineau. And, you know, I think Morgan's going to go too. 5th round pick in 2031. He's just never cut it. Career 885 save percentage in 59 games. Jamie Morgan, it just didn't work. So between these 4, we have our goaltending. Defensively, it's a bit of a tough call. Gerby's going to be signed. So technically it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh boy. 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3. So in theory, I only need 3 more defensemen. Maxime Boudreau is not going to be signed for obvious reasons. Kilger will be brought back. So in theory now it's just 2 more defensemen. And it's really between that big group of players where it's like, who the hell even cares? Let's go for Bellemare. I mean, reigning AHL Defenseman of the Year. We'll go for the other Sauve. Camachi. Jamison Camachi. 6th round pick in 2026. 187 career NHL games. To his credit, he is going to be cut. We also have Cade Darby, who just never really worked out. 6th rounder in 2031. 50 games of NHL time. And I'm just not feeling it with him. And then Aaron Sim, another big disappointment. He and De Silva, I really had high hopes for. And they just didn't cut it. So he is also on the way out. We know who our defensemen are going to be. And then forward-wise, again, we got some pretty big decisions to make, I would say. Let's go down to the bottom first and foremost. And just to look here. Beaulieu, Yves Beaulieu, we'll go ahead and sign you. Outside chance you could ever be something decent. Ladd is 24. I don't really think Billy's going to improve all that much. Yeah, 7th rounder in 2033. Not bad, but we're going to cut him. There's Durand, who's at least a low elite at 23, so we'll bring him back. Then there was Drouin Delorier, I don't know yet. Duchesne. Moses at 23, definitely needs to be brought back. Cracknell at 24. I know he's down to a low top 6, but we'll bring him back. Duchesne, I don't know. LaPierre, Hannon. And let's be honest, Corazzini has to be brought back, even though he's looking for $10 million a season. And he rejected initially, because of course he did. So, goalies, we're good. Defense, Bellemare and Sauve rejected, because of course they did. But we'll still... I mean, you know what, though? We know at the NHL level they haven't gotten it done. Screw it. They don't want to stay. They can go. Simon Bellemare, 2nd round pick in 2026. But God, he could be half decent. All right, let's just give in here. Give them a raise to stay, because the strategy next year might just be now to use the highest overalls again and just see what the hell happens. I'm gonna have that decision probably be made by you guys here as far as what we do. So the AHL is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Nope, 11. 12. And then the NHL is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we need 2 players. That's it. Corazzini will obviously be one of them. And then the other is likely to be Aiden Hannon as the highest rated guy. So that means we are looking at probably cutting LaPierre, Duchesne, the other Duchesne, and Laurent Drouin Delorier. Corazzini signs, Bellemare signs, Sauve signs, Hannon rejected. He wants a little bit more, which is understandable, I suppose. And honestly, we need someone on a massive-ass contract, so it'll be him to take up that crap load of space. Wow. Okay, so Aiden Hannon, despite wanting an extension, is leaving the team. Unless that breaks the max money total and it glitches out and still has him reject. That's probably what just happened. Let's go ahead and drop this down to about 20, and he should accept this. Yeah, there we go. So the money total, the rollover glitch is still there. For those who don't know, if you offer a bit too much money, the game registers it as 0. So, yeah, keep an eye on that. So, we pretty much know certain players are leaving the team. Jacques Lapierre, 2nd round pick in 2023. Decent player. I mean, 500 points in 1,000 games, but, again, it's a bit of a shame. Like that 70-point season, the 60-point season, it was just kind of a fluke. You could argue he ended up going into a reduced role. But even this past season, he only had 24 points in 82 games. He just looks cooked. Could argue and debate how we may have affected that. Pascal Duchesne, 3rd round pick in 2024. Almost 400 points in nearly 1,000 games. He's going to be dropped. Cesar Duchesne, 2nd round pick way back in 2029. Only 93 points in 246 NHL games. And then Laurent Drouin Delorier, a 3rd rounder in 2028. 36 points in 146 NHL games. So those 4 are going to be dropped. We pretty much know who is on the team next year. We lost a couple of scouts. We didn't lose any staff members. Although I guess the big question is whether or not there are any like top-notch coaches out there, and there are. So we're going to have to make a play for those guys. I'm going to have to sign some scouts. So I guess the big question, let me know what you think. I mean, we don't know the full outlook of the team, but hopefully, we have that decision where we just go with best potential, or we can go with the best overall. Let me know what you think, as well as, let me know what you think about what we talked about here at the start of this episode. We're going to continue on with the Growlers. We're doing it. We're going the distance.